Hey guys, this is the Fat Panda with another video gym challenge. This is going to be battle number 4, I believe, against Dragon Claw. I've beaten him the 3 previous times we've matched up, so he decided to challenge me yet again, second challenge of this week. If you may have noticed, my team is a little bit different this time around. I've actually done some thinking and some rearranging of Pokemon on my team. I wasn't too happy with how my Marowak was doing. He never really seemed to pull his weight. So I've decided to scrap him entirely in favor of Camerupt in this case. Camerupt has actually pretty good attack and special attack at 105, I believe. Granted, his defenses, his typing, and his speed are all terrible. However, I'm hoping with Trick Room up, his speed won't matter, and he can hit really, really hard. So with Eruption or Earthquake as stabs, and he's also got Rock Slide. And I actually dropped my Cresselia, who, while an incredible tank, couldn't do anything offensively at all. Cresselia its only attack was Psychic, and I felt like most of the times it wanted to attack, it couldn't hit anything for any amount of damage. So I've actually dropped it in favor of Bronzong, who still has the useful Levitate ability. He's got pretty good resistances, and he's still very, very bulky, but also has access to decent attacks. Gyro Ball with his incredibly slow speed, among other things. So, I decided in this battle I'm going to lead with my Bronzong and Camerupt. It's probably not generally a good idea, but I kind of wanted to see if I could showcase why I used the both of them in this match. And, well, I know what happens, but let's see, if my strategy pays off in Dragon Claw's 4th gym challenge. So we both actually go for odd leads this time. He opens up with Flygon and Aerodactyl, which is something I've never seen before. 2 quick leads. I know Aerodactyl is equipped with Taunt. And I open, of course, with Camerupt and Bronzong, hoping to showcase their skills. So my first thing is always going to be I'm going to protect with Camerupt. Because of this, I always get a guaranteed Trick Room up, or I should say, he always comes out unscathed of the turn it takes to set up a Trick Room. Flygon goes back by using a U-turn, and he actually sends out Sigilif, which is good news for me, which you'll see later. Aerodactyl goes for the Taunt on Bronzong, but just as I did with Cresselia when I had it, I still use the Mental Herb on Bronzong. I never want to get taunted because he is so slow. And then I do go for the Trick Room. So now most of my team is going to move really fast. Sigilif gets burned, but I really don't care about that. So now I actually set up a really fast Sunny Day with Bronzong, and you can probably see where this is going. I immediately then use Eruption with my Camerupt. It is also holding a Fire Gem, so pretty much my whole point is I need to, whenever I use Eruption, if it would be best if I could just knock out 2 Pokemon straight away. That way I can maybe even get another Erupt in at full health. Well, here I take out the Sigilif, which I did expect, and Aerodactyl does survive. Eruption's not very effective against Aerodactyl, so I kind of expected, if I was unlucky, he would survive it. He comes back at me with an Earthquake. Doesn't hurt Bronzong, but it does pretty darn good damage against my Camerupt. It doesn't take him out, so I know he can get 1 or 2 more attacks off before he falls. But there's no point in using Eruption ever again, because it'll do almost no damage. So he brings out his Slowking and Lucario. I'm expecting an extreme speed from Lucario, so I actually go straight for the Protect. And then I actually use Explosion with Bronzong. I know it's not going to do really all that much damage, but he's really served his purpose. He set up a Trick Room, set up a Sunny Day, and I know his Gyro Ball isn't going to hurt either of them for anything, so I just Explode here to get a free switch in. I know neither of them are going to do anything to my team this turn. It does a decent amount of damage. And then they both use their attacks. Looks like they're both aimed Blaziken was definitely aimed at Bronzong. I assume Scald was aimed at my Camerupt, but it doesn't really matter. So now I send out my my Metacham, and I go for the fake out on the Slowking. I just don't want to deal with whatever it could do this turn. I did expect to lose my camera up this turn to extreme speed, which I do, which does happen. I knew he was going down no matter what this turn, either to a Scald or to a camera up, or to a extreme speed. So, you know, he did his job, for sure. He got that eruption off, which probably really surprised Dragonclaw how much damage it did. So here I send in my Magnezone. Unfortunately, now I believe Trick Room is over. Oh no, it's got one more. This is the last turn of the Trick Room. I just miscounted. So, Slowking does get a slack off here. I went for the Volt Switch with Magnezone in the attempt to. I was hoping that I'd take out this Slowking if it went for a Calm Mind or an attack this turn, but it doesn't actually take him out. So I bring out my Magnezone. And then I send out, I believe, Reuniclus. Yep, I send out Linsanity, the Reuniclus. I'm hoping, you know, he'll be used to set up a Trick Room next turn when it's over. I used the high jump kick. I actually did aim it at Slowking because I was worried that the Volt Switch wouldn't actually finish the Slowking off. And I knew that, you know, whatever little damage that I had left to do to Slowking, a high jump kick would easily do it. And if Slowking had fallen, well, it would have just gone and hit the Lucario, which would have worked quite well as well. Here, Lucario had into close combat at the Magnezone, but of course, since I switched in my Reuniclus, really doesn't matter. This is actually the turn where I thought I lost the battle entirely. I do bring my Metacham out. I bring back in Carmelo. I was fearing an Outrage. When this battle happened, I actually thought Outrage was something you could aim at a specific Pokemon, but it turns out it's a random target, which is unfortunate, because this time it does hit my Reuniclus, who sticks with around 15 health. Unfortunately, the Crunch, which is aimed at it, will take it out. Best case scenario, I would have, you know, the Outrage would have hit Magnezone and I might have survived. But now this is where I think I've lost, because I currently have no Trick Room set up, and I don't have any Trick Room users. So I thought I was in a ton of trouble. So I went for the Fake Out on the Lucario. I knew it was probably going to go for a close combat, and I really didn't want to lose my Magnezone right here. So I just used Fake Out on it to flinch it this turn. Unfortunately, the Outrage comes. It hits Metacham. When he was attacking, I thought I would survive it, but he crits, and now that I think back on it, he was probably doomed even if it hadn't crit at all. I don't think he could have actually survived that. But I do get the Hidden Power Fire off on the Lucario, so it's going to fall here for sure. So it's not as successful as I would like. And here's where I'm kind of worried, because I'm down to, it's 2v2 now. We are down to our last two. I believe. Yeah. I don't think he's got anything left. And Flygon is confused. His Rampage ended. Unfortunately, he does get the Outrage off. And it goes actually at the Magnezone, which is incredibly lucky. I was worried it would hit the Electros, which would have been very bad for me, because Porygon 2 does go for the TRI attack onto my Electros. But I get the Thunderbolt off on the Porygon 2. That's going to do decent damage. I mean, you know, I wasn't expecting much because of the Eviolite. And then I get the Hidden Power off on the Flygon. It is Ice. I use my Electros as a mixed attacker on this team. So I knew that at the 4 times weakness he had Ice, this was going to be a guaranteed KO. Which is fantastic for me, because now it's a 2-on-1 situation. Both my guys can take at least both of my guys will take at least one hit for sure from this Porygon 2. It can't take either of them out in 2 TRI attacks. So I just aim my most powerful moves. I go for Thunderbolt with the Magnezone. I was hoping I could KO at this turn between Thunderbolt and the Wild Charge of my Electros, but he does survive with a sliver of health. Granted, I knew at this point I'd won the battle. I'm out. I out-damage his Recover, and he has absolutely no way to... Well, he could probably actually one-shot my... he could probably take out my Electros right now, but, you know, he was actually, it's not, when I talked to him afterwards, he said he was using Recover, hoping that he'd get a miss. He wasn't sure what the accuracy of Wild Charge was, and honestly, I wasn't 100% sure that was 100 during the battle, but I looked up afterwards, and it is 100%, so there was no way he could win this outside of, a disconnect, pretty much. But even if we disconnect, he would have probably said, hey, I lost this battle for sure. So I do win 2-0 in this battle. I was just happy that I actually got to showcase what my camera ups can do. I normally probably wouldn't lead with camera ups. That's a bit of a risky play because I have no idea what he's going to lead with. I mean, if he led with if he led with Slow King and Porygon 2 that battle, I would have actually been in a lot of trouble because Eruption's going to do next to nothing, even with the Fire Jam and the Sunny, it's going to do nothing to Slow King, and Porygon 2 would probably not be one-hit KO by it. It would probably take 2, although I haven't checked. I would assume it would take 2. So in that case, I would have been in severe trouble that game if that had happened. But, he led unusually, I led unusually. It's what happens. I got lucky this time. I will probably not lead with camera up again. That was a really risky play. But it worked out, so I'm pretty happy about it. I've actually now beaten Dragonclaw 4 times in this gym, which I'm pretty happy about. It's one thing to beat every challenger once. It's another thing to beat one particular challenger multiple times. It shows that your team is strong, or at least you know how to use your team well. Granted, I did change it a little bit this time, so I thought I might have the edge on the surprise. But after enough times, a challenger figures out what you can do. If he looks back, he sees what works, and eventually they'll beat you the second, third time, whatever. So I'm actually really pleased with this. I've only faced 2 challengers more than once, and my gym's 9-0 right now, so that's only 6 challengers total. But I'm pretty happy with what's happened so far. So I'm looking forward to what's coming, another battle for Dragonclaw or a new challenger, whatever. I can't wait for the next battle. Anyway, this is the Fat Panda signing out for this video.